guys, here's Michael again. Now we are going to move on with our GtkGrid widget, and we are going to see how events works when you apply them on your widget, on your grid, sorry. So basically it is the same, like the same concept like with all other widgets. We were already talking about things like widgets which they are getting events, and widgets which they are not getting events. So this means for those widgets where you cannot have events, or where you cannot catch events, there is a thing called GTK widget EventBox. So GTK EventBox. So with the help of this EventBox, let's see its description. And description says the GTK EventBox widget is a subclass of GtkBin, so which also has its own window. That's very important. It is useful since it allows you to catch events for widgets which do not have their window. So basically, you know that GtkBin can have only one container. The same things happen with EventBox too, but that container which can catch, that child which you can put, sorry, I messed the thing up. The GtkBin is a container which can have only one child. So this means because GtkEventBox, it is a subclass of GtkBin, this means that GtkEventBox, which is a container, can also have only one child. But for this child, the EventBox provides a window also. Sorry. This means by doing this, basically you can have signals there where you cannot. So one of them are GtkGrids. So our grid, when you create it, this grid cannot have events. So if you need events, or if you need to catch events to your grid, then you do something like I already did here. I created or better said, I was expanding our create child function, so it's a little bit much bigger now. So why? Let's see. I was creating an event box, I was creating a child, and then I created a label, as you can see here, and then we set the events and to catch, let's say to catch, let's set the events to catch the enter and leave signal. So this means I was calling GTK widget set events with on the event box with the event mask. Event mask I declare it here. I define it here, sorry. And as you can see, we are using notifimax, enter notifimax, and leave notify, whatever, mask. Okay, so that being said, again we are creating these three widgets, and then the first widget, which is an event box, we are setting those events to the event box, and then we called GTK signal connect swap. We are passing event box here, so that we can catch this signal on the event box, which is enter notify event and leave event on the event. And once that the signal is catch, we are swapping this one with the child, and by calling basically this enter event callback and leave event callback functions, which you should already be familiar with. If not, just go back to my events tutorials videos and you understand them. We are going to talk just a little bit about them, and of course we are passing the child. So here is the enter event callback which takes 2 parameters, of course, because like I told you, an event callback, it's a type of Boolean and returns true or false, and by this means it has at least one more parameter for events. And because we are calling GTK connect swap and not GTK connect, we don't need 3 parameters. So the G pointer, we don't need it, we need only the widget itself to can change its name. So basically, after we catch this event, we are setting the name to the hover, and then return true. The same thing happens with the leave. After we catch the leave signal, we are setting the widget to my child. I mean, we are setting back to the child. And let me run the program now so that you understand it better. As you can see, we have here a window, we have here for a grid and for childs, and now when I will hover my mouse pointer on those childs, you will see this, you see, and says enter, leave, enter, you see, and this is basically the hovering, which you are doing it on GtkGrid childs, so that you know how you work. And later, after we are setting those events, then we add to container. So this means we have here 2 calls. The first one, after we set the events and we connect those signals, then we are putting our event box in the child, and of course our label in the event box too, so that we have more control of our signal and leave event. And once that we did this, we could basically set the child name, which we choose it by calling by passing this parameter, and then we are setting also the border with it, and of course the GTK widget set size request, which sets the window size, width and height. And also we have our label here, which you already know from the last tutorial, where we are setting on the label name, the label text, the label name for our CSS, margin and tooltip text, so that when we hover over the label, it's coming, you see the tooltip, it's right there. So basically this is how it works. And finally we were returning our child, and the main function, as you can see, we have no changes. We have only those 4 childs, and of course we have the 4 calls for grid attach, which created our grid with those 4 childs arranged in the way how we want to have them. So this is how you are working with events. Of course, if you search for events, you can catch all possible events. Let's see, events, just type events, and then somewhere here down here you need watch here are the events. So basically here are the events which you can catch them. We already talked about these events, and once that you want to catch, or before you want to catch this, you need to set the mask. So you do that with the OR operator here, like I'm doing here. For example, if I need now the K press mask, I just need to add it here, and that's it. So we don't need to make some other changes to our program. This is more than enough. And then you have those K press or K release, or I don't know which other masks do you need to catch to set So as you can see here, says again the same. So to connect the callback function to one of these events, we could use something like gsignal connect button press event callback and null. But you see, every time when you feel that here you need to pass null, just use gsignal connect, swap it, and then put button here and here, so that you can drop your g pointer data if you don't need it. So your function, it will be better to look somehow like this, with those two with these two parameters instead of 3. If you don't need 3 parameters, 2 will be fine for you. Okay, so I think I covered everything which you need to know. I think you saw how you catch hover, because let me see, what do you think it happens if, for example, the way, watch, I'm dropping now the hover part, I'm running the program now, and as you can see, nothing happens. I mean, what means nothing? The hover is working because we are catching those signals. But what? Let me just comment out this part here, so that you understand. See, it's not working. And maybe if you are thinking that you can catch the hover like this, which works on a lot of widgets, just don't think about that, because it's not working. You see, you cannot catch this hover, so you cannot have it. So this means if you cannot have it, it does mean you cannot create it. So basically this is what we did today. We set the enter and leave mask, and then we catch these two events, enter and leave event, notify events. We were catching them, and by catching this, basically in the enter and leave callbacks, we were setting the name of the widget to a particular name, so that we can have control of them through CSS, like here. And then once that we have control of them, then we have also our hover, like I have it here. Okay, so that being said, I think like I said, I think this is everything you need to know about signals. If you feel that you need to catch some other signals and you don't know how to do it, or maybe you do them and it's they are not working for some reason, just post a comment with your code, and we can take a look together and see which kind of signal I'm trying to catching and why it's not working. It is always a reason for why it's not working, and we can then of course find a way to fix it. Okay, so that being said, again, thank you guys for watching, and if you like it, please subscribe, leave messages, some messages through your comments about new information which you need and so on, and of course please subscribe, share with your friends, and until next time, see you guys.